The problem of the conflict of cultures is not a problem that can be settled by governments, either by politicians or by elites. It's a problem that has to deal with a social unconsciousness and has to be taken care of in terms of the community level. I think that what is important is to be imaginative. The great drama is inertia. The basic idea of my work and the basic idea of my effort is to discuss the problems of development and national development in Latin America. As someone from Latin America, and more than that, from Portuguese Latin America, that's half of the continent, we are bringing in the cultural conflict from the destitute, from the people that have been deprived of their own conditions of wealth and social mobility. We are the cultures of the void. We are the cultures that have been under colonialism and under, I would say, a certain model of capitalism that creates an enormous concentration of wealth and the absolute freezing of social opportunities, countries with an obscene division of wealth and income. When you have a developing country, it has to go multicultural, especially when you have the many roots of your past, and especially when you are going out of a colonized kind of a way to look at it. The imprint of a domination has to be changed by an imprint of a multi-aspect of flexibility and the coexistence within difference. I think that there is an imminent clash not between civilizations but between, I would say, Islam and evangelic fundamentalism in the West. Terrorism is not going to be abated as that. Terrorism is just starting. And it's not just by the classical rhetorics of coming back to peace that we are going to settle that. In the world of terrorism, the aggression is anonymous. The aggression is at random. Aggression is absolutely rational. It comes from every side of the world, and you live in a situation of anger, expectancy, and a situation of great subordination to the instant event. The general idea of the alliance is to take into consideration a civilization of fear that succeeded what at the very brink of the new century was seen as a culture of peace. How can you make the balance and interaction between something terribly on the wane, a culture of peace, and what is emerging in such a terrifying way, like a civilization of fear? Kofi Annan asked the Alliance to develop a program in this direction. The program that's being discussed in this moment involves education, media, youth, and necessarily the problems of the politics involved in that for the following reasons fundamentally. Education first. Education not just as the classical learning process, but the capacity to build through learning the insight between the cultures involved. It's not just a curricular problem. It's a problem of a full new understanding. How can you teach the West the real insights of Islam? How can you discuss the Western message in Islam without making the full criticism on the colonial periods? If you want to help what we are doing, you have to understand that's not a problem of goodwill. It's not a problem of just wanting to do it. It's to understand what is really at stake. What is at stake is a situation of violence and a situation of dominance that has to be really taken care by its own roots. It's not a problem of police. It's not a problem of armies. It's not a problem of military intervention. It's a problem of building a new confidence in the heart.